Hey y'all, this is Alex from You Should Craft, and today I'll show you how to crochet the linked double crochet. Here's an example of a project that I'm working on that features the linked double crochet stitch. And you can see that because the double crochets are kind of stuck together or linked together, that it creates this really dense fabric without a lot of holes. So in this example, I used it for a crochet Christmas stocking. Just so that like if you got someone a candy cane or something else small that it wouldn't like fall through the holes. So anyway, let me show you how to crochet the linked double crochet. So I'm using a super bulky yarn. This is Woolly's Thick and Quick from Lion brand. It's a number 6 super bulky. You do not have to use this though. You can crochet the linked double crochet with any yarn and any hook that matches. Today I'm using a 10mm hook. Okay, so I'm going to make my slip knot and start a crochet chain just like usual. Insert my hook, and then you're going to crochet any number you want plus 3. And that 3 will help us get our double crochet started. So here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's do 10 just for this sample. I'm going to move my yarn over to the other side. And then now that I have my 10, I want to crochet that plus 3. 1, 2, and 3. So these 3 will be used to help build our first linked double crochet stitch. So you want to flip your chain over so that you're seeing the bumps on the back instead of the V's on the front. And then counting over from your hook, find the second back bump. So here's 1, and then here's number 2. So I'm going to insert my hook into the second chain from my hook into the second back bump. And then I'm going to pull up a loop. So I'll yarn over and pull through. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. And so that was the second chain from my hook. Now I want the 4th. So here's 3, 4, the 4th chain from my hook in the back bump again. I'm going to insert my hook and then pull up a loop again. And then now I'm just going to finish this linked double crochet as if it was a normal double crochet stitch. So I will yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Whoops. And then yarn over and pull through those last 2 loops. So here's my first double crochet stitch. This is a linked double crochet. And then do you see this crossbar right here? We are going to start our next linked double crochet off of this crossbar. So I'll insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then I'll insert my hook into the next chain. Now I will pull through. So I have 3 loops on my hook, and I can finish off that linked double crochet. So pull through 2, pull through 2, and you can kind of see that this like row of the crossbars is forming. So that is kind of the defining trait in these linked double crochet stitches. So let's do another one. I'm going to insert my hook into that crossbar, yarn over, pull up a loop, insert my hook into the chain below, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then finish off just like a normal double crochet. So yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through those last 2 loops on the hook. So again, this is our 4th linked double crochet now. So I'm in the crossbar, pulling up a loop, Now I'm in the chain, pulling up a loop, and finishing off that linked double crochet. So you can see there's a lot less gaps than if you were doing normal double crochet stitches. And I really like this. I've got a blanket going right now, and then I'm working on that stocking I showed you earlier. But I've also seen like sweaters crocheted with this stitch. Basically anything that you would make with double crochet, you could make with the linked double crochet. It'll just change the drape of your stitch since it's a little bit less drapey than the regular double crochet. But so here I'm going for stitch number 5, inserting into that crossbar, pulling up a loop, inserting into the chain, pulling up a loop. So I'll finish off this row. I'll have 10 linked double crochet or LDC stitches when I'm done. And then I'll show you how to start the next row, and then you should be good to go for any projects. All right, here's my last one. I'm going into this last chain, pulling up a loop, and then finishing off like a double crochet. We can straighten it out a little bit so we can take a peek. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 linked double crochets. So now for the second row, we're going to chain 3, kind of like if we were starting a normal double crochet, except with a normal double crochet, you could chain 2 or 3, and we won't do that. We'll always chain 3 because we need those for getting our linked double crochet started. So like before, you'll kind of turn your chain, and you want to pull up a loop in the second chain from your hook. So here's our first back bump, and then here's our second back bump. So I'm inserting my hook into that second back bump. I'm pulling up a loop, so yarn over, pull through. And now I turn my work so it's facing the right direction. And in the top of that stitch from the previous row into this V in both loops, I'm going to insert my hook and pull up a loop, just like we did with the starting chain. And then go ahead and finish this off like a normal double crochet. So now you're all set up to finish off this row, but I'll do a couple more with you just so that you can keep seeing what we do. So one more time, insert your hook into the crossbar, pull up a loop, insert your hook into the either starting chain or in this case the top of the stitch from the previous row, pull up a loop, and then you have 3 loops on your hook, and you can just finish off like a normal traditional double crochet or DC stitch. I should have clarified at the beginning, but these are the US terms. So I have a little bit left in that row, but I'm just going to wrap up because now you know how to crochet the linked double crochet stitch. You can keep watching and I'll show you how to decrease in double crochet. in linked double crochet because it's a little bit different, but increasing in linked double crochet would just be the same. You would literally just crochet another stitch into the same stitch. So I've got my hook in that same stitch from before, finishing off my linked double crochet, and now in this last stitch I have 2 there. Okay, so a linked double crochet 2 together looks a lot like a double crochet 2 together. It's abbreviated ldc2tog. So basically we are going to decrease by 1 across every 2 stitches. So like these 2 stitches right here will become 1 stitch. These 2 stitches will become 1 stitch. So we'll start off our LDC 2 together the same as we would if we were doing another LDC in this row. So I'm inserting my hook into this crossbar on the linked double crochet before it. I'm yarning over, pull up a loop, and then inserting my hook into the next stitch. Just like usual, I'm going through both loops, and I'll yarn over and pull up a loop. So now I have 3 loops on my hook, and I'm going to start off like a regular double crochet, but just like with a DC2 together, I'm going to stop here. So I've got kind of a half of a double crochet right here, but since this is linked, I'm going to insert my hook into this crossbar that has already formed, and you'll need to be careful because it's going to be really close to the loop you already have on your hook. So I usually secure this loop on my hook with my finger and then insert my hook into that crossbar and then pull up a loop. So only the first loop on my hook is coming off. It looks a little weird, like there's 2 loops coming off of one hook, but you can ignore that for now. And then I'll continue to make my next linked double crochet. So I already have 3 loops on my hook. I'm inserting my hook into that stitch, pulling up a loop, and then I'm going to pull through the next 2 loops on my hook. So now you can see I have 2 kind of half stitches. Each of these is like the bottom part of a linked double crochet. And I have 3 loops on my hook, and for the linked double crochet 2 together, or ldc2tog, I'm going to pull through all 3 of those loops. And there you go. So to continue on from that stitch, I'm just going to do what I would normally do. So here's the crossbar. I'm inserting my hook, pulling up a loop, inserting my hook into the top of the next stitch, pulling up a loop, so I have 3 loops on my hook, yarning over and pulling through those first 2 loops, so I've got a little half stitch here, and then I'll insert my hook into this crossbar of my little half stitch. I'll yarn over and pull up a loop through that first loop that was on my hook. And here's this funny stitch where there's 2 loops coming out of it. And then I'll insert my hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops to make that second little like half stitch. And now I can pull through all 3 of these loops to finish my linked double crochet 2 together. So this would be great if you were like shaping on a sweater or decreasing. I used these kinds of stitches when I was crocheting a stocking so that I could make it curve. Like here I increased on the outside, but then on the inside I had to decrease. So I used these LDC2 together and LDC3 together stitches to kind of pull it in for that decrease. You could also use it for shapes. So if you were trying to make like a triangle shape or if you were doing like corner to corner crochet or something like that. But anyway, I'll show you, I've got room for 2 more linked double crochet 2 togethers, and then we'll do the LDC 3 together. So here's that little half stitch. I'm going to insert my hook into the crossbar and pull up a loop. Insert into the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull through those first 2 loops, and then finish off all of these guys. One more time. And then here is my last linked double crochet 2 together. So you can see that this row is pulling in because it has less stitches than the previous rows. My last couple rows had 10. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which makes sense because we did 4 LDC 2 together stitches. So in order to linked double crochet 3 together, or ldc3tog, we will start off exactly the same as we did for the linked double crochet 2 together. So you'll insert your hook into this crossbar, pull up a loop, insert your hook into the top of the next stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull through the first 2 loops like you're doing a double crochet, but here we're going to stop. And then insert your hook into that crossbar of that little half stitch you made, pull up a loop, be careful that it's just 1 loop. And then now we've got our first little half stitch. We're set up for the next half linked double crochet, pull up a loop, and then pull through those first 2 loops. So now we have our second little like half stitch. And then I'm inserting my hook into that crossbar, pulling through a loop, and then inserting my hook into the next stitch. This is our 3rd stitch. I'm going to pull through, oh sorry, I should say I have 2, 4, 5 loops on my hook right now. And then I'll pull through 2 loops. So now I have 3 little half stitches and 4 total loops on my hook. And I'll just pull through all 4 of those loops to make my LDC 3 together crochet stitch. And now I'm going to do one more just so you can see. I'll start off in this crossbar. So insert my hook, pull up a loop, insert my hook, pull up a loop, pull through those first 2 loops as if I'm doing a regular linked double crochet. But now I'm going to start off on my second one. So I'll insert my hook into that crossbar, pull up a loop, insert my hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and pull through those first 2 loops on my hook. I now have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to insert my hook into this crossbar, pull up a loop, insert my hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop. Now I have 5 loops on my hook again. I'm going to yarn over and pull through those first 2 loops. So now you can see I have those 1, 2, 3 little half stitches. And then I'll pull through all 4 of the rest of the loops to finish off that LDC 3 together stitch. So now I have decreased by 2 for each of these, so 4 total. So I should have 6 stitches in my row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, you can use this for shaping. Here's a stocking pattern that I was working on. And right here in the inside of the stocking like foot curve, or I guess ankle curve, I used linked double crochet 3 together stitches to get this shape, so to decrease it. Thank you for watching and learning all about the linked double crochet stitch and how to increase and decrease. Please subscribe to the You Should Craft channel and check out the You Should Craft blog for more free crochet patterns and tutorials.